What would you do if 6 weeks before your marathon, you couldn't get up off the floor? Not metaphorically, literally. You're in your kitchen, you bend down to put something away, and a muscle in your back seizes so hard that your legs go out from under you. That was me last Tuesday. I spent the next 5 days in bed on muscle relaxers and watched 8 days of training disappear. 6 weeks out from the London Marathon, and I'm flat on my back staring at the ceiling. So I want to ask you again, what would you do? Because if you're training for your first marathon, especially if you're over 40, I can almost guarantee you'll face a moment just like this one. Maybe not a back injury, maybe a work crisis, a family emergency, an illness, a schedule that falls apart overnight. Your plan will break. And today, I want to show you exactly why that doesn't have to break you. So here's the story. I was putting the air fryer away in a lower cabinet, and that's it. That's the whole heroic origin story. I bent down, something seized in my lower back, and I went down. By the end of the day, I was on muscle relaxers and not going anywhere. To make matters worse, this happened the week before I started a new job, with a new schedule, no longer working from home, earlier start times, and later end times. So in the blink of an eye, I lost 8 days of running and completely restructured my weekly schedule, 6 weeks out from the London Marathon. And here's the truth of how I felt lying there in bed as the days ticked by. The fear wasn't really about the pain. The pain was manageable. The fear was about the math, about looking at my training calendar and watching days cross themselves off, about the mental loop of, am I going to be ready? Did I just lose everything I built? That feeling, that specific spiral, is something I think every person training for their first marathon needs to hear about, because nobody puts it on the race poster. And here's what I want you to understand. My story is not an edge case. This is not bad luck. This is marathon training after 40. We don't live in a controlled environment where the only variable is how many miles we run. We have careers and families and bodies that have been around the block a few times. We have lower back muscles that apparently have opinions about air fryers. Life doesn't pause for your training cycle. And the first-time marathoner who hasn't been warned about this, who found a 16-week plan that has no margin, no cushion, no room for a bad week, they hit a moment like mine and they think it means something is wrong with them. But in reality, they just got handed a plan that was never built for real life. And that is the truth that nobody tells you. When I designed my training cycle for London, I made a deliberate choice. 24 weeks. Most marathon plans are 16 weeks. Some are 18. Mine is 24. And that's not because I needed more time to run more miles. It's because I've trained for 7 marathons. I've coached runners in this age group, and I know with absolute certainty that something will happen. I just don't know when or what. So I built the plan with that assumption already baked in. Here's what that actually means in practice. A longer cycle means the progression from one week to the next is smaller. I'm not asking my body to make a huge jump between training blocks. Each week builds on the last one, but gently, incrementally, in a way that's designed for a body that recovers a little more slowly than it used to, and a schedule that can shift without warning. What that means when life hits is, if I miss a week, I'm not staring at a giant gap I have to leap across. I pick up roughly where I left off. The fitness I built doesn't evaporate in 8 days. And because the progression is gradual, stepping back in after a week off doesn't require a heroic effort. I'm 6 weeks out from London right now. I just missed 8 days, and I feel ready. Not perfectly trained, not invincible, but genuinely, calmly ready. Because the plan was designed for exactly this. That's not luck. That's architecture. And if you're watching this and you're in the middle of a week where your plan fell apart, I want you to hear this directly. Your plan breaking does not mean your goal is broken. Every single marathon over 40 has this moment. Not some of them, all of them. The injury week, the work crisis week, the week where everything that could go wrong did. The question is never whether that week comes. The question is whether you and your plan are built to survive it. The ones who finish their first marathon are not the ones who had a perfect training cycle. They're the ones who stayed, who adapted, who gave themselves permission to have a hard week and then showed back up for the next one. I didn't start running until I was 43. I've had injuries and setbacks, all while trying to make it to a starting line. And I'm still here, still building, still running. And so are you. If any part of what I said today sounds like your situation, if you're training for your first marathon and you're not sure your plan is built to handle real life, I want to talk to you. I offer a free coaching call. No pitch, no pressure, just a conversation about where you are, what you're trying to do, and whether there's a smarter way to get there. The link to schedule the call is in the description below. And if you found this helpful, if this is the kind of honest conversation you've been looking for, hit the subscribe button, because this is what we do here. We train for marathons with real lives in the real world. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.